It's Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, the United Nations opens a landmark summit in Geneva as the world scrambles to govern artificial intelligence. Anthropic's most powerful model hits a billing cliff, and nearly $3 billion pours into a single Chinese video AI company. Let's get into it.
The inaugural United Nations Global Dialogue on AI Governance opened Monday in Geneva, drawing delegates from across the world for what organizers call the most significant multilateral conversation on artificial intelligence ever convened. The two-day session runs through today and flows directly into the AI for Good Global Summit, which begins this morning and continues through July 10th. Co-chairs of the UN's independent scientific panel, including Nobel laureate Maria Ressa and Turing Award winner Yoshua Bengio, warned that AI capabilities are now outpacing the world's ability to govern them. No binding treaty is expected this week. What delegates are chasing instead is a shared vocabulary and a set of minimum commitments for how nations restrict access to frontier systems.
To the model makers.
Anthropic's most powerful model, Claude Fable 5, reaches a billing cliff today. July 7th is the final day the model is included at no extra cost for Pro, Max, and Team subscribers. Starting tomorrow, July 8th, Fable 5 access requires prepaid usage credits, billed at $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens, roughly double the cost of Claude Opus 4.8. Anthropic says the credit structure is a temporary bridge while it scales serving capacity following the model's 18-day export control suspension in June. The company has not set a date to restore subscription-included access. Teams that rebuilt production workflows around Fable 5 after its July 1st restoration are being urged to audit their routing before the charges begin.
Staying with the labs.
OpenAI's newest models remain behind a government gate. GPT 5.6, offered in 3 tiers named Sol, Terra, and Luna, launched June 26th to only about 20 vetted partner organizations, and broad access has still not opened. Analysts expect that to change this week, with the window for general availability running through July 14th. Confirmed pricing puts the flagship Sol tier at $5 per million input tokens and $30 for output. Separately, OpenAI has reportedly floated an unusual proposal to Washington, handing the U.S. government an equity stake of roughly 5%. The idea signals just how entangled frontier AI and national policy have become as the company prepares for a possible public offering later this year.
Over to Google.
Google's long-awaited Gemini 3.5 Pro is finally trickling into release. After missing self-imposed deadlines in both May and June, the model has entered an expanded enterprise preview and begun a gradual developer rollout this month. Its headline feature is a 2 million token context window, the largest of any production frontier model, double what rivals from Anthropic and OpenAI currently offer. That capacity lets it hold an entire codebase, or years of documents, in a single session. Google says the delays came down to token efficiency and long horizon reasoning, problems it wanted solved before a full launch. With competitors shipping almost weekly, every additional week Gemini spends in limited preview is a week its context window advantage stays theoretical rather than real.
Now, autonomous driving.
Tesla has taken its most aggressive step yet in autonomous driving. The company has launched its Robotaxi service in Miami with no safety monitor in the vehicle, making Florida its 5th U.S. market after Austin, Houston, Dallas, and Phoenix. Miami is the first city where Tesla went straight to fully unsupervised operation, skipping the supervised phase it used elsewhere. The rollout runs under Florida's state autonomous vehicle rules rather than federal pre-approval, and Tesla says it aims to reach a dozen states by year's end. The contrast with rival Waymo is stark. Waymo still stations safety monitors in new markets. Regulators and consumer advocates warn that no monitor means no human fail-safe if the system meets an edge case it cannot handle.
From cars to code.
Meta has released a new open-source tool for measuring AI coding agents, and the early results favor a competitor. The benchmark, called SWE-Together, replays real software engineering sessions across 109 multi-step tasks, testing whether a model can hold context in correct course over many turns rather than answer a single prompt. The key finding: Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.8 required the least human correction of any model tested, completing 63% of full workflows on the first pass. The metric matters because real engineering is rarely one shot. It is a running dialogue where the true cost is how often a developer must stop and redirect the machine. Meta releasing a benchmark that flatters a rival underscores how quickly coding evaluation is maturing.
Turning to China.
In China, a new law is about to reshape how AI talks to people. ByteDance's Doubao, the country's most used AI app, with 345 million monthly users, is shutting down its human-like and user-created agent features ahead of a July 15th deadline. Alibaba's Qwen is doing the same. The regulation requires anti-addiction systems, usage warnings, and instant exit mechanisms, requirements that are fundamentally incompatible with persistent memory agents designed to keep context over time. Doubao users can view their agent histories in read-only mode until October 15th, after which the data becomes permanently inaccessible. Both companies concluded it was easier to shut the features down than to rebuild them under the new rules, a striking retreat in the world's largest AI market.
Back to Washington.
Back in Washington, the White House is preparing to fill a governance gap of its own. According to reporting from the Financial Times, the administration is in advanced talks with OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google on a voluntary framework for frontier model standards, with an announcement expected within days. The framework would spell out the classified benchmarks that trigger a pre-release security review, define what materials companies hand to government reviewers, and clarify which foreign organizations may access the most capable models. It builds on a June 2nd executive order and carries an August 1st deadline. Policy experts have described the current, unwritten system as a de facto licensing regime, run through private phone calls rather than published rules. A formal framework would at least make the criteria visible.
Following the money.
The money continues to pour into AI, and this week much of it flowed to China. Kling AI, the video generation company backed by Kuaishou, closed a funding round of nearly $3 billion, valuing the business at around $18 billion. Backers include Tencent, Alibaba, and Baidu, a rare show of unity among Chinese tech giants that usually compete fiercely. Kling turns text and image prompts into short video, and it has drawn real international traction despite tensions between the United States and China over technology. The $18 billion valuation places it well above Western video AI peers, a gap investors read either as mispricing or as evidence that China's AI sector has been underestimated. Kuaishou says it may pursue a Hong Kong listing for the unit within a year.
Powering the boom.
Another slice of this week's capital went to the physical layer beneath AI. Crusoe, a company that builds data centers next to stranded energy sources, is in talks to raise $3 billion in a round that would roughly triple its valuation to about $18 billion. Crusoe's pitch is that the real constraint on AI is not chips, but electricity. By placing computing power right where cheap, otherwise wasted energy is generated, it aims to run data centers well below the cost the largest cloud providers pay. The investors backing the round are effectively betting that AI's appetite for power cannot be met by the existing grid near major cities. It is a reminder that the AI boom is increasingly an energy story as much as a software one.
To the defense sector.
Defense technology is drawing AI money too, this time in Europe. Quantum Systems, a German maker of AI-powered reconnaissance drones, raised $1.2 billion, doubling its valuation to $8 billion. It is a striking figure for a European defense company, a scale of funding that until recently was reserved for American and Israeli firms. The round reflects how sharply investor appetite for defense AI has shifted, As European governments move to rebuild their own capabilities and reduce reliance on outside suppliers. Quantum Systems builds drones that gather and interpret battlefield intelligence in real time, blending aviation hardware with autonomous software. The raise signals that Europe now views sovereign AI defense capacity as something worth funding at the largest scale.
And one closing deal.
Finally, a deal that shows how established industry is buying its way into AI. Schneider Electric, the French energy and automation giant, has agreed to acquire the software company Cognite for $3.1 billion. Cognite builds industrial data tools that connect and organize the messy operational data from factories, power plants, and oil platforms. Schneider is not buying an AI product so much as the plumbing that makes AI possible. Its industrial customers cannot run intelligent systems on their data until that data is unified and made legible. At roughly 15 times the venture capital Cognite ever raised, the price resets expectations for industrial data startups and signals that the buyers of AI's foundational layer are increasingly old-line industrial firms, not tech companies.
That's your briefing for Tuesday, July 7th. For DX Today, stay curious.